Hello everybody, Intuition here. Thank you as always for making time and space for us. Today we'd like to discuss your relationship to the body and how to better improve that relationship. And so the first thing in which we know is important to understand is the fundamental idea that you are not the body and the body is not you. You are connected to the body. However, that does not mean that you are the body. Many people make the mistake of over-identifying themselves with the body, and when you begin to do that, you destroy the connection that you have to the body, which creates a slew of different issues that we may or may not get to in this video. However, again, it is important to understand the crucial aspect that is you are the seat of consciousness. The aspect of you that is understanding the words that are coming out of our mouth right now is the seat of consciousness. That is you. You are not the body, however, but you are connected to it. If you were the body, then you wouldn't be plagued by many of the issues that we are assuming that you may or may not go through, like potentially getting too hot or getting too cold. You would never get too hot or too cold. You would never get depressed or be afraid, because you would be able to control every single chemical reaction within your body because you are the body. You would be able to mitigate whatever is outside of your preference to inherently being within your line of preference because, again, the body has complicit control over the body. If you were the body, you would know the name of every cell. You would know every space, metrically, how much space is there, how much space isn't there between every blood cell, between every organ. You would know all the tissues. You would know every axon and dendrite, every connection, every neural pathway. You would know it by name, tangibly, physically, viscerally. However, because you are not the body, you don't know those things. You are the seat of consciousness, and what you know is specific to you, not the body. So the first thing that is most important for you to understand is, again, the idea that you are not the body and the body is not you. However, you are connected to the body. And the reason why we choose to have a body to begin with is not the idea of karma or you're being shoved into a body because of whatever your beliefs are, because you're a Christian or a Buddhist or reincarnation or whatever you believe. It is not because of some happenstance outside of your control. You choose spiritually whether you're going to go into a body or not. And the reason why you would go into a body would be the idea that I will be able to understand myself better through the lens of a three-dimensional perspective that a body would be able to provide me, as opposed to my energetic body. So, if there is a belief that a body will lend more of an understanding, that will have more of a completion and a progression and an expansion with regards to how I know and understand myself, then I will choose to go into a body, and I'll have a contractual agreement with the body, because the body will agree to work with you, because though you may not need a body because you have a pure energetic body outside of the physical body, the body does need you in order to have its own breath of life, so to speak. And the reason why that body will agree to work with you is because, again, it allows it to have its own understanding of self through the breath of life that you give it, that then therefore gives it its own autonomy and individuality that it would not be able to have without you in the seat of consciousness. And so, you are connected to the body, but you are not the body. So the contract that you and the body come into is the idea that I, the seat of consciousness, will be the where. And the body will be the how. Meaning, I will dictate where it is that I want to go. I want to go over there. That is the seat of consciousness. The body will show up how it needs to show up in order to meet you, the seat of consciousness, with regards to where it is that you want to go. So the body is the membrane between the physical reality that allows for you to get to where it is that you want to go, but how the body wants to get there. You have no real control on some level how the body shows up, but what you do have control over is the where, because that is the contractual agreement. I say where, you show me the how. And so how the body shows up is the breath of life, the individuation that you give it by being connected to the body. And so it is important to understand, again, because you are not the body, but many of us over-identify with ourselves as the body. What happens is we start disrespecting the independent, synergistic relationship that we, the seat of consciousness, have with what the body is. And when we start not respecting that relationship, when we say, well, I am the Lord and my body is the slave, when I start pushing the body in ways that it does not really match with the correspondence with how it wants to show up, then it creates a slew of issues, diseases, and otherwise that create a disconnection and a disharmonic ability for the seat of consciousness to fully be present within the body structure that allows for the expansion of consciousness, which both the body and the seat of consciousness has agreed to. Because again, at the end of the day, the seat of consciousness, which is you, and the body wants to know and experience itself in a three-dimensional way that neither of you can have individually, but both of you can have connected to each other. But when one starts trying to supersede the other, which is usually us, the seat of consciousness, pushing our body in a way that is not congruent with how it wants to show up, it creates, again, a bunch of issues and a incongruence between the power dynamics of what it is that we bring to the table and what it is that the body needs to bring to the table. And so it is important to be aware of these things, because when we push our body to its limits, when our body starts to break down, or if we have a physical broken ailment, or if we have some kind of surgery, it is important to understand that the body needs time to process and work with itself so that it can then work with us. Something that's fundamental and important to understand is that the only reason, based off of our understanding, the only reason why we have interests is not because there are inherently our own interests, our meaning the seat of consciousness. The reason why we have interests is because that is how the body and the seat of consciousness interact in interfaces, which then become interests. In the sense of, if you like to cook, you are the seat of consciousness. Realistically, you don't really need to eat, but your body needs to eat. So then therefore, you know what? I have a love of cooking. I love being able to work intellectually with the thought of certain food products that allow then therefore for me to work in my body and physicality so that we could bring that to the forefront, in which that is us working in synergy that creates the oneness. I have interests because that creates the synergistic harmony that creates one. That is my relationship to the body. My interests always go back to how I have a relationship with my body. No other real reason to have interests. Other than, again, that is how you and your body relate to each other and bond. And so my interests are based on how I can connect with my body can connect to me, and we create a oneness, a wholeness, that allows for more of an expansion in me understanding myself, in the body understanding itself, in a very independent but synergistic way that again allows for an expansion. Because the body would not really know how to operate without your directive. but you wouldn't be able to operate without the body carrying out the directive, the how. And so again, interests are your body and your way of interacting with each other that allows for the synergistic oneness, that allows for the expansion of understanding that happens within a third dimensional body. And so, it is important to understand the relationship that you have with your body so that you can better work with your body, so that you're not so taxing and demanding on your body in the interpretation that you are the body. When you start understanding that there's a separation and an individuation between the seat of consciousness and your anatomy, it allows for more of a fulfillment, more of a purposeful movement, more of a cohesion in both these experiences that then therefore allow the expansion for you to better understand yourself. And so, if I start losing interests, it is because my body is not connecting with me and I'm not connecting with my body in a way that allows for us to come together and have that bonding moment. Likewise, if I go through a serious physical trauma in which there's a surgery, or if there's a broken bone, or if there's a disease, then my body is needing to heal, obviously, literally and figuratively, but also going through its own grieving process, separate from your grieving process. Because again, the body knows itself better and has more of a connection than you do to whatever is broken or whatever has been removed or put in, if we're talking about a surgery. And so, just like you would treat a person that has lost somebody, it is important when your body is going through a physical injury, a physical trauma, to treat the body with that same level of grace as you would somebody who has just lost another dear departed family member or friend. You would give that person space. You would allow them to process and understand what this new system means. You wouldn't be forcing them or insistent on them being better or being how they used to be before the serious injury occurred. You would again just allow them to be and process in the way that they need to process, so that when they are ready, they are able to interact with you and rejoin in interests. And you are able to listen to that more on the basis of the understanding that you are not your body, the body is not you, however you connected. And so, as always, just a little food for thought. If you are having issues within your body, then these are some suggestions that you could take and keep in mind with regards to how to be a little bit more accommodating to what it is that is going on, because there is a process of healing, of grieving, that is important for your body to be able to have and maintain within itself before it just starts bonding back with you. And so, as always, just a little food for thought. We wish you and your body well in your relationship with each other. And as always, well wishes. Thank you for making time and space for us.